Victims' rights are designed to provide meaningful opportunities for victims to exercise choice and to have a voice in the criminal justice process. Depending on how a jurisdiction has structured its rights, many victims' rights do not require victims or others to affirmatively ask for their rights. These rights should happen automatically. For example, in many jurisdictions, victims have a right to notice of certain court proceedings, such as sentencing in a criminal case, and the victim has a right to automatically receive this notice, even if they don't specifically tell anyone that they want to be notified of the sentencing hearing. When these automatic rights are at issue, a victim may still have to formally assert them to a court if they've been violated or are at risk of being violated. In many jurisdictions, some rights may require that the victim take certain actions in order to activate their rights. Often, these rights are phrased as rights that are guaranteed to victims upon request. This means that each victim needs to be told that they need to request these rights so they can make their own choice whether to request the right. Some jurisdictions provide forms that survivors can use to request their rights, but specific forms aren't the only way of asking for rights. Requesting rights can also look like asking the prosecutor, law enforcement, or other system actors for rights. Central to ensuring that victims' rights are meaningful are three distinct yet related legal concepts: rights compliance, and rights assertion and enforcement. Rights compliance happens when the system is working to honor and respect all of victims' rights. Compliance means that the rights are working as they should. For example, victims are being notified of proceedings, having their voices heard, and receiving restitution. Compliance is generally about the system having processes in place to ensure that victims know and understand that they have rights, know how to request them, and that the requests are being properly documented, and that rights are actually being afforded and victims are benefiting from them. An additional aspect of compliance is that the system is monitoring and improving itself. If something goes wrong, those responsible for it will identify the problem and improve policies and procedures to ensure that in the future, the system works more smoothly and affords victims' rights as effectively and comprehensively as it should. When rights compliance happens, everyone benefits because the system is working to protect and afford victims' rights to every victim in every case. Rights assertion is the formal act of asking a court or another court-like adjudicative body to enforce victims' rights. Victims can formally assert their rights on their own or with the help of their own victims' rights attorney, and at times through a prosecutor. Often, rights assertion comes after a victim has asked for their rights through another avenue. For example, a victim might ask for their right to confer with the prosecution by telling the prosecutor that they want to talk about the charges or about potential plea agreements. If a prosecutor will not confer or will not meaningfully confer with them, then the victim could formally assert their rights before a court, asking the court to make the prosecutor confer with them so that they can meaningfully exercise that right. Victims' rights enforcement often goes hand in hand with the act of formally asserting rights, when a survivor needs to involve the court system to protect their rights. When a victim, or their attorney, or upon request the prosecutor, has asserted a victim's rights, it is the court or another adjudicative body that enforces the right. The assertion and the request for enforcement of rights can happen in a variety of ways, including through different motions and other legal tools that ask the court to issue orders to enforce victims' rights when they are in danger of being violated, or to issue orders to enforce the right by remedying violations after they occur. The dual role of enforcement, preventing violations of victims' rights from happening and remedying them if they do, can be crucial because it does not rely on the system itself to do what needs to be done. Enforcement involves courts, whose job it is to ensure that rights are protective, to make determinations about victims' rights, and to issue the orders that are necessary to make sure that this particular victim's right is protected in this case and at this moment. Although enforcement is initiated on a case-by-case basis, enforcement also benefits future victims, as court orders and decisions help create legal precedent that provides guidance for future cases as well. NCVLI has created a number of online resources to assist victims, victim advocates, and victims' rights attorneys with understanding victims' rights and that touch on rights compliance, assertion, and enforcement. Additional publications, videos, and other helpful resources can be found on NCVLI's website.